Bournemouth families spend a quarter of their income on caring for their children. Store owners in Boscombe say not enough is being done to boost the local economy. And rural communities in Dorset fear the end of the lifeline due to the council's cuts in funds for the weekly buses. Hello and welcome to Breaker News at 4. I'm Lisa Dashinger. Families in Bournemouth are under financial pressure due to increasing costs in caring for their children. A report out today says that childcare costs take up 25% of their budgets. Ruth Sachs reports.
A report out today shows that families in Bournemouth are typically spending around a quarter of their income on childcare. Parents are spending almost £4,000 a year on care for one child and often spending more money on this a week than on their weekly shopping budget. Debbie Shaw, Project Administrator at Queen's Park Children's Centre, says that the cost of childcare is a dilemma for many parents.
Parents do think childcare is expensive because especially if they want to go back to work, childcare costs more than a lot of jobs pay. You know, if they could go back to work and childcare was more affordable, then I think a lot of parents would go. Whether there was more things around that the government incentivised, where people could put their children that were more cost effective than maybe a creche or something.
Mums in Bournemouth have made use of different childcare options.
We'll be looking at about £50 a day. I'm hoping to go back part-time, and so it does work out to be a significant chunk of my salary. So we're not really much better off with me going back to work. I prefer to stay at home.
I did work full-time before I had him, but I just don't think it's worth going back to work now.
With council cutbacks affecting childcare services, childcare professionals are warning that the situation could become even more costly for parents. Ruth Sachs in Bournemouth for The Breaker.
Store owners in Boscombe say not enough is being done to boost the local economy. They say the work so far to rejuvenate the most deprived area in the southwest has had no effect. I've been taking a look at the story. Boscombe is considered one of the most deprived areas in the southwest. Local shop owners are calling on Bournemouth Council to bring new life to the local economy. The town's market remains unchanged according to the latest census. The council's investment plans to strengthen the local economy through financial and cultural initiatives is poorly visible.
The economic situation in Boscombe is not good at the present time. The footfall is dropping in Boscombe. We don't get as many people here as we used to. We used to have a Marks and Spencer's here. We used to have a Co-op. We used to have a TJ Hughes. We used to have a great variety of shops. But the variety of stores in Boscombe is not good enough to try and draw people here.
An economic scheme published by the council last year listed the area's revitalization as one of Bournemouth's top challenges for the upcoming years. Concrete plans are made to attract more businesses to the area.
Boscombe is one of a few of our successful areas within the town, and it does get a lot of focus, and rightly so. It needed that at the time, and it still needs that to continue its progression forward. And I think from an economic development sustainability point of view, it's really important that we continue to support that, like any regeneration programme.
Rural communities in Dorset say they fear being isolated because the council is cutting back the funding of local bus services. But the council says that it needs to balance the books. I am now joined by our local correspondent Anna Novo. Anna, what's the council saying regarding this matter?
Hello, Lisa. So the council says that these rural buses are not viable from an economical point of view, and that these cuts will represent £1.5 million saved over the course of the next 2 years. They also say they're trying to find other ways to gather the community, but nothing has been announced yet.
How's the situation and after this announcement?
Well, people are very fearful about their future because this is a rural community. So many of them saw this little bus tour as their escape. It was the only way they could go to the market, for example. It was a little of a lifeline for them. They really looked forward for it.
Well, thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
More than 6,000 parents in Bournemouth have signed a petition for children to be vaccinated against a rare strain of meningitis. Currently, the meningitis B vaccine is only offered for free to children under the age of 1. Dorset parents want this to be extended to children up to 11.
It's already raised so much awareness, which is fantastic, because the real challenge for us is making sure that people are aware that meningitis is still a problem. We need people to stay vigilant, know the signs and symptoms. So not only is opening up the discussion about the vaccine, but it's making people find out more about the disease, which has got to be a really good thing.
I have a 2-year-old myself, so obviously I understand that they should get it for free. A lot of money, I probably would think about it, because I know at their age group the risks of getting it are quite high, aren't they? But obviously I think if they all get it on the NHS, then that's a good thing.
I think it should be free. I definitely think it should be free on the NHS because children need it. If not, it's £150 per shot, which is ridiculous because it's something that every child needs.
Police are appealing for witnesses after a cyclist indecently exposed himself in Puddletown. It happened last Saturday morning on the A354 at the junction with Druce Lane. The police says the suspect is described as tall, white and in his 30s.
If you could keep the parents away, every game would be easy because kids don't care. If the pitch wasn't marked and you put some cones out and had cones for goals, the kids would play. But the parents would be the ones that would play up. Everyone thinks their child's a star.
We are apparently facing technical difficulties here. An under-8 football match in Wareham had to be abandoned last weekend when parents' aggression on the sidelines got out of hand. This comes after warnings from youth leagues that some parents are becoming violent. Coach Ryan Norman says it is common practice to use tape to keep parents back from the pitch. Let's hear from him again.
If you could keep the parents away, every game would be easy because kids don't care. If the pitch wasn't marked and you put some cones out and had cones for goals, the kids would play. But the parents would be the ones that would play up. Everyone thinks their child's a star.
Cybercrime experts in Bournemouth are warning that a healthcare app designed to monitor prescriptions could be misused. The yellow card scheme is designed to keep tabs on such things as allergies and dosages. But the university's cybercrime unit says this information could be stolen and used to blackmail patients. The medicine's watchdog says that everything is being done to ensure that the app is secure. A housing charity in Bournemouth is criticizing a local councillor over his claims that homelessness was a lifestyle choice. Councillor Robert Lawton says that people choose to live on the streets. But the charity crisis warns that it's dangerous to stereotype people. Casper Hughes reports.
Councillor Lawton says that the number of rough sleepers in the area has risen significantly, but several of these vulnerable people intentionally want to be on the street.
Well, perhaps they just prefer that lifestyle. Some people just prefer it for some reason. Hardcore people who prefer to live on the street rather than, they don't want anything to do with society. Just leave me alone. I'm happy as I am.
But National Homeless Charity Crisis strongly disagrees and think it is not good to label homeless people.
It's certainly not something we'd describe as a lifestyle. None of the people that we work with would ever choose to be homeless. There's always a bit of a danger sometimes that people fall into a stereotyping of homeless people. The idea of just not helping themselves or something along these lines. But that's, people that we work with genuinely want to better themselves and to get out of homelessness. Because it's a genuinely horrible place to be. It has impacts on people's health, on their mental health.
Meanwhile, public believe that homeless people on the street for a reason.
Yeah, I disagree that homelessness is a lifestyle. In fact, they're forced to be homeless, so they're put in that situation, which means that it's not a lifestyle.
And I disagree because I think they're born into it and they can't help what circumstances they have and what they're born into and their family background and things like that. So I disagree with that.
Homelessness is become a national issue. The number of rough sleepers are increasing. Government says if they figure out the reason behind this, they will do everything to solve this issue. Casper from BBC News.
Well, that's all for now. Join us again at 5 for a full roundup of the day's news.